Earth harbors sheer, precarious cliffs where only the wind and the birds seem to reign. In these harsh, secluded corners, human existence appears almost implausible. Rugged limestone formations rise vertically toward the blue sky. Waves churn into white foam, crashing violently against the bases of ancient rocky peaks. Amidst this vast expanse, ancient structures rise right at the edge of the abyss. They have stood firm through centuries of storm. From a distance, the rooftops and monasteries appear tiny, clinging tenaciously to the embrace of Mother Nature. This scene creates a striking contrast between the planet's eternal power and the creative hand of humanity. Turquoise Mediterranean waves crash violently against a stretch of white limestone cliffs rising over 70 meters high. From a distance, the cliffs resemble a colossal stack of paper eroded by the ocean over millions of years. Perched right on the precipice, overlooking the void, stand clusters of multi-story ancient houses. The foundations of these buildings sit precariously at the edge of the dramatically eroded rock face. Narrow, cobblestone alleys winding through the town of Bonifacio help buffer the force of gale-force winds blowing in from the ocean. Seagulls frequently soar and wheel just outside the apartment windows. The famous King of Aragon stairs, comprising 189 steps, are carved directly into the sheer limestone rock. From here, the view opens up to a vast expanse where the brilliant blue sky meets the deep, dark sea. A conical black basalt formation stands solitary amidst a lush green valley. It is the remnant core of an ancient volcano, left behind after the surrounding softer rock eroded away over millions of years. This natural stone column rises 85 meters straight into the air. This natural stone column rises 85 meters straight into the air. Perched atop the narrow summit of the lava formation is the small chapel of Saint-Michel-des-Guilles. Patches of green moss and shrubs cling to the crevices along the rock's surface. To reach the top, one must ascend 268 steps that wind along the rugged, black cliff face. Strong winds sweep across the surrounding valley. The 360-degree view from the chapel summit encompasses the entire grass and tree-covered volcanic range of the Auvergne region. The ground suddenly split open, forming the El Tajo Gorge, which plunges nearly 20 meters deep. Two sheer, gray limestone cliffs stand facing each other across a vast, yawning chasm. The Guadalquivir River flows along the gorge floor, having eroded the rock over the centuries. Perched right at the edge of the cliffs are whitewashed houses. The massive stone bridge, Puente Nuevo, was built to span the gorge. Its soaring granite arches reach deep down toward the bottom of the abyss. Lush wild vegetation grows from the crevices along the cliff faces. In autumn, mist often rolls into the El Tajo Gorge, partially veiling the stone bridge and the cliffside houses. The Atlantic Ocean churns, sending waves crashing against a small rocky island situated just a few hundred meters offshore. Viewed from above, the island resembles a colossal stone dragon resting amidst the ocean. The waves have carved deep into the rock, creating natural caverns and unique stone arches. A narrow stone bridge winds its way like a ribbon, connecting the mainland to the island. The path traverses 237 stone steps that cling to the rugged spine of the terrain. Perched atop the island stands the tiny chapel of San Juan de Gaztelugatl. Gusting sea winds carry a salty mist that veils the entire landscape in a hazy blur. Seagulls fill the sky, their wings fluttering against the backdrop of dark gray cliffs. The Gravina limestone valley reveals itself with barren, ash-gray cliffs. Thousands of natural and man-made caves are carved deep into the soft calcarenite rock. The structures of the Sassi di Matera settlement are stacked vertically upon one another. The roof of a lower house serves as a walkway for the row of houses above. The monochromatic gray landscape creates a visual effect resembling a colossal stone sculpture. Wild vegetation sprouts from the crevices in the rock and between the weathered stone steps. Sunlight causes the cliffs to shift in color from pale gray to soft yellow as the day progresses. This rugged landscape has featured in chase sequences in a James Bond film. The collapse of a supervolcano into the sea 600 years ago created a massive underwater caldera. Sheer cliffs of black and deep red rock embrace the deep cobalt blue waters below. Perched atop cliffs hundreds of meters high, the village of Oya reveals itself with hundreds of pristine white houses. Many of the dwellings are actually caves carved deep into the volcanic rock, which offers excellent thermal insulation. Blue domes stand out strikingly against the stark white walls. The sea at the foot of the cliffs lies mirror still, reflecting the light of the setting sun. As the sun goes down, the dark grey volcanic cliffs and the stretch of white houses transform into a magical blend of pink and orange hues. The vast plain of Thessaly is dramatically punctuated by dozens of colossal sandstone pillars. These natural rock formations rise up to 400 meters and date back approximately 60 million years. Wind and rain have eroded the sandstone surfaces into sheer, smooth cliffs that stand almost vertically. Perched atop these rugged, pointed peaks are the ancient monasteries of Meteora. Lush green valleys filled with oak and pine forests surround the bases of the pillars. In the early morning, a blanket of mist covers the entire plain below. Only the tops of the rock pillars and the monastery roofs emerge from the sea of clouds. The scene creates the impression that the entire architectural complex is floating in mid-air. Located approximately 60 kilometers southwest of the city of Tabriz, the village of Kandovan nestles at the foot of the snow-capped Sahan Mountains. The landscape resembles a field of colossal stone pillars melting under the tropical sun. Natural, cone-shaped volcanic rock towers standing 10 to 15 meters tall cluster together against the dry, gray terrain. Desert winds whistling through the rock crevices create low, mournful howls throughout the day. What makes this place truly unique is that local families have continuously inhabited the interiors of these rock formations for over 700 years. Residents carve into the soft sandstone cliffs to create multi-level dwellings. The ground floor serves as a shelter for livestock such as sheep and goats, allowing their body heat to rise and warm the upper levels. The middle floors serve as living quarters, featuring small windows that overlook the rocky valley. Thanks to the insulating properties of the volcanic rock, the interior temperature remains cool in the summer and stays warm even when the desert winter plunges to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Flocks of sheep traversing the rugged stone steps that connect these cave homes embody a resilient way of life. In western Georgia, rising from the lush green Katskura River Valley, stands a solitary 40-meter-tall limestone column known as the Katsky Pillar. This natural rock formation stands completely detached from the surrounding mountain ranges, resembling a giant finger pointing straight toward the sky. Weathering has etched the column's sandstone surface with vertical ridges of orange and dark gray. Perched atop the pillar's narrow summit is a small monastery dating back to the 10th century. All food and water for the monk living in solitude at the top must be hauled up using a manual rope and winch system. Falcons often choose crevices in the column's sides as nesting spots. The only way to reach the summit is by climbing a vertical iron ladder anchored directly into the rugged limestone. As twilight descends upon the Imereti Valley, the limestone absorbs the light, glowing with a brilliant golden-orange hue against the backdrop of the deep green forest. Located in southern Georgia along the banks of the Kura River, Vardzia is a massive cave complex carved deep into the Erusheti rock face. The grey cliff face, stretching over 500 meters, is riddled with openings, resembling a giant, exposed honeycomb. The site's history was shaped by a violent 13th century earthquake that caused the mountain's outer face to collapse. This natural disaster tore away the protective rock layer, revealing more than 600 cave chambers arranged across 13 vertical levels within the mountain. Visitors are amazed to learn that this subterranean city once served as a home and refuge for over 50,000 people during the medieval era. Inside the mountain, escape tunnels leading to the river, rock-hewn wine presses, and ancient irrigation systems remain intact. Today, flocks of wild pigeons nest within the abandoned stone chambers. As visitors traverse the dark stone corridors, they encounter icy groundwater trickling from the rock crevices. Located about 15 kilometers east of the city of Gori, the ancient settlement of Uplistsik stretches across a hill of golden sandstone along the banks of the Mtkvari River. over the course of more than 7 years. Wind and storms have eroded the soft sandstone into undulating shapes resembling ribbons of molten wax. Unlike conventional architectural structures, TheSideYou've was created by carving away excess rock to form temples, dwellings, and streets. The site once served as a center for ancient sun worship before the arrival of Christianity in the Caucasus region. A testament to this cultural transition is a red brick church built directly atop the ruins of an ancient stone temple at the hill's highest point. Along the flat rock faces, hundreds of deep pits carved directly into the stone served as ancient wine-pressing vats and bread ovens. Desert lizards can often be seen scurrying across the sandstone cliffs, warmed by the sunlight. From the hill's summit, a steep, secret tunnel carved through the rock leading straight down to the river below remains intact to this day. Perched on the edge of the arid Unila Valley in the high Atlas Mountains, the fortress of Ait Ben Haddou rises from a steep, red rock hillside. From a distance, the entire architectural complex resembles a colossal mountain of terracotta-hued earth sculpted into pointed towers. The ancient structures, built from red clay brick and cobblestones, cling tenaciously to the precipitous hillside. The vibrant reddish-orange tones of the brickwork blend seamlessly with the basaltic earth of the mountain range behind. The site's striking resilience is heralded by a surrounding defensive wall and soaring watchtowers anchored deep into the bedrock. Narrow, winding cobblestone paths snake their way up the steep slope to the summit. What truly captivates the observer is the fortress's solitary presence. Standing at the boundary between the volcanic mountain range and the vast Sahara Desert, desert agamas can often be seen basking in the sun on the ancient, warm brick walls. At sunset, the light illuminates the red brick fortress, making it glow like a massive ember suspended amidst the gray, rocky valley. Located in the northwest of Guizhou province, Mount Fanjingzhen is a sacred peak rising over 500 meters above sea level within the Wuling mountain range. Rising from the heart of a lush, dark green primeval forest, a natural metamorphic rock spire dating back 1.4 billion years thrusts straight up toward the sky. Weathered by time, the gray rock face is etched with perfectly vertical grooves. The main attraction lies at the summit, known as the Red Cloud's Golden Summit. This colossal rock formation is split into two distinct sections by a deep gorge. Perched precariously atop these two narrow peaks are ancient temples dating back to the Ming Dynasty. To connect these two spiritual sites, a narrow stone bridge was constructed across the yawning chasm at an altitude of over 400 meters. Visitors must ascend 888 steep stone steps that cling to the mountainside. The rare golden snub-nosed monkey is often spotted in the ancient trees at the base of the cliffs. When mist rolls in, the base of the rocky peak is completely obscured, making the two summit temples appear as if they are floating amidst a sea of white clouds. Located approximately 45 kilometers southeast of Tianshui City, the limestone peak of Majestic rises abruptly amidst the lush green forests of Gansu province. This 142-meter-tall reddish-purple sandstone formation resembles a towering stack of grain amidst the pristine wilderness. The site's most striking feature is its sheer, vertical cliff face, which has been carved into nearly 200 Buddhist cave shrines. A network of wooden staircases and walkways zigzags across the cliff face, resembling a giant spider web clinging to the red rock. To create the more than 7,000 statues carved into the cliff since the 4th century, ancient artisans combined local clay with plant fibers and egg whites, a mixture designed to prevent cracking over the millennia. Wild swifts often build their nests directly behind the colossal stone statues. Viewed from afar, the contrast between the red sandstone, the ancient statues, and the surrounding lush greenery creates a magnificent scene that feels both perilous and serene. Vongtin Valley is tucked away amidst rugged quartz mountain ranges. The site was originally an abandoned granite quarry before being transformed into a cliff-hanging settlement. Dozens of wooden houses, built in the traditional stilt house style, cling to sheer cliffs rising hundreds of meters high. What truly captivates observers is the structural engineering secret behind the complex. Engineers drilled high-strength steel anchors deep into the rock face, then encased them in wooden joinery and rammed earth walls mixed with straw fibers to preserve an antique aesthetic. A small river flowing at the valley floor generates rising mists that shroud the suspended buildings in an ethereal haze. As night falls, thousands of golden lanterns illuminate the cliffside in unison. The thunderous roar of waterfalls, mingling with the wind whistling through the gorge, creates an incredibly vivid experience for guests staying in rooms perched right at the cliff's edge. Perched atop the Taihang Mountains more than 700 meters above sea level, Guoliang village sits directly upon a sheer, vertical cliff of red limestone. From a distance, the ancient village resembles a stone fortress clinging to the edge of a precipitous gorge. The key to the village's remarkable survival is the Guoliang Tunnel, i.e., 2-kilometer passage carved through the mountain. "13 villagers personally excavated this route through the solid rock face using only handheld hammers and chisels over the course of 5 years. Along the rugged stone tunnel, 35 natural-looking windows have been hewn into the cliffside to admit light. Through these openings, visitors can gaze down into the deep, dark red limestone valley hundreds of meters below. The village houses are constructed entirely of stacked stone blocks, held together without the use of mortar. Mountain eagles frequently soar close to the red cliffs. The sight of narrow stone paths hugging the edge of the abyss creates a dramatic journey amidst the majestic natural landscape of the Taihang Mountains. Perched at an altitude of nearly 300 meters above sea level in the remote Spiti Valley, Danka village rises from an ancient formation of mud and sandstone deposits. From a distance, the entire settlement resembles a giant termite mound clinging to jagged earthen pillars sculpted by centuries of wind erosion. Adding to the site's fragility is the fact that the ground beneath the village is not solid rock, but rather a layer of compacted clay clinging to a steep cliff face. The 1,000-year-old monastery and the stone houses constructed entirely from sun-dried mud bricks, poplar wood, and river stones blend seamlessly into the landscape's barren, grey tones. Visitors are often astonished to learn that, due to severe soil erosion, this site was once listed among the world's most endangered heritage locations. From the village's highest point, one can view the confluence of the Spiti and Pin rivers as they flow across a brilliant, silvery expanse of gravelly plain. At this altitude, the thin air renders the sky a crystal-clear blue, creating a striking contrast with the rugged, barren appearance of the Rocky Mountains. Tucked deep within the Zanskar Gorge in northern India, Phugtal Monastery appears like a colossal white honeycomb clinging to the dark grey cliff face. This unique structure originated from a massive natural cave situated right at the edge of the precipice overlooking the Lungnak River. Medieval monks constructed dozens of rooms made of mud, stone, and juniper branches suspended against the cliffside, all without the aid of technical blueprints. Wooden beams were driven deep into crevices in the rock to serve as the primary structural framework for the entire complex. Passageways between the monastery's levels consist of narrow, unrailed wooden corridors that look straight down into an abyss plunging more than 300 meters. The rushing river below forms a ribbon of emerald green water winding through the steep, rocky gorge. Reaching this remote site still requires a trek of at least 2 days along narrow trails that hug the canyon floor. Perched precariously on a sheer sandstone cliff at an altitude of over 300 meters above sea level, Parotaktsang Monastery stands as the kingdom of Bhutan's most sacred spiritual symbol. The White Monastery Complex, featuring gold-plated roofs, juts out over a precipice rising more than 900 meters above the floor of the Paro Valley. The surrounding landscape is defined by misty pine forests and the thunderous roar of waterfalls cascading through the ravines. The ruggedness of the terrain is evident in the single pilgrimage path that provides access to the site. Visitors must traverse mountain slopes draped in five-colored prayer flags fluttering in the wind. Then descend hundreds of stone steps carved directly into the deep gorge before making the final climb up to the monastery. Mountain monkeys and eagles are frequently spotted around the dark gray cliffs. The brilliant whitewashed walls and gleaming gold accents shine brightly in the sunlight, creating a scene that is at once majestic and solitary amidst the vast Himalayan wilderness. Located in central Myanmar, the Tongkalat Monastery stands proudly atop a sheer basalt plug rising 737 meters high. This natural rock column is essentially the hardened volcanic core remaining after the surrounding softer soil eroded away. From a distance, the monastery complex with its gold-plated stupas resembles a glittering crown resting upon the dark gray rock pillar. All construction materials and gold leaf were transported to the summit entirely by human labor and manual pulley systems over the course of centuries. The journey to the summit begins with a winding stone staircase of 77 steps that hugs the sheer face of the volcanic plug. Hundreds of wild, long-tailed macaques living along the steps create a lively and animated scene. From the top of the monastery, the view opens up to a panorama of lush green forests and arid plains stretching all the way to the horizon. Perched precariously on a narrow rocky ridge with sheer drops plunging into the ocean on three sides, the Rumah Pohon treehouse appears as a daring, suspended outpost amidst the sea and sky of Bali. The landscape is breathtakingly steep, featuring stark white limestone cliffs rising over 200 meters against the onslaught of massive waves crashing thunderously below. The extreme danger lies in the solitary access route, requiring visitors to cling to flimsy bamboo railings while navigating narrow earthen steps right at the edge of a yawning abyss. The rustic wooden structure itself is built directly onto the trunk of a resilient ancient tree that juts horizontally out from the cliff face. Its floor is constructed entirely from joined bamboo slats and thin planks, hovering suspended in mid-air. Seabirds and white-bellied sea eagles frequently soar right past the windows in search of fish. Guests staying here must contend with a trembling sensation whenever strong sea gusts shake the entire tree anchored to the rock. The contrast between the fragile wooden dwelling and the ferocious ocean below creates a symbol of daring survival that is among the most extreme in Southeast Asia. Located in the rugged, mountainous Tigray region of northern Ethiopia, the Abuna Yemataga church is carved deep into a freestanding sandstone pillar. Rising over 500 meters above sea level. This colossal rock formation resembles a razor-sharp fang piercing the African sky. The surrounding landscape is dominated by a desert of burnt orange rock and parched, thorny scrub. The ultimate test of endurance comes at the final stretch of the path leading to the church. Climbers must traverse a narrow ledge barely 50 centimeters wide, clinging to the sheer cliff face, with their heels dangling over a dizzying 200-meter drop. Desert falcons frequently nest and soar amidst the sandstone crags. Inside the dim cavern, 13th century murals painted with pigments derived from plant extracts and animal fats retain their vibrant hues. The isolation of this religious site stands as a testament to resilient survival amidst the wild landscape. The majestic Andes conceal an architectural masterpiece perched precariously between the peaks of Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu at an altitude of 430 meters. The landscape is breathtaking, featuring sheer cliffs that plunge straight down to the churning, murky waters of the Urubamba River far below. Ancient people achieved an extraordinary feat by constructing a massive stone city directly atop a geological fault line prone to frequent earthquakes. To prevent the entire city from collapsing into the deep gorge during fierce rainy season. The Inca carved and built over 700 stone agricultural terraces that cling tenaciously to the mountain's steep slopes. The stone structures were assembled using the ashlar dry stone technique with such precision that not even a knife blade could fit between the blocks. This structural assembly can shift slightly to dissipate the shock of earthquakes before locking firmly back into place. Llamas, with their padded feet providing excellent grip on the rock, graze freely across the verdant terraces. Mist rolling in from the Amazon rainforest constantly envelop the mountain's base, transforming Machu Picchu into a suspended stone oasis that defies all human laws of construction. Jinlong Canyon is home to a remarkable architectural marvel. The hanging temple Shenkongxi, which appears to cling precariously to a sheer 90-degree rock face. Perched 50 meters above the riverbed, this 500-year-old temple evokes a sense of awe and perhaps a shiver of apprehension in anyone who beholds its seemingly fragile structure. The entire weight of the complex is supported by a system of squared oak beams anchored deep into the volcanic rock. To protect against termites and decay, these beams were soaked in tung oil before being driven firmly into the vertical cliff face. The monks here go about their lives on narrow wooden walkways hugging the precipice, moving with careful, measured steps to avoid destabilizing the load-bearing wooden framework. Food and water are supplied by locals from outside the valley via baskets hoisted up from the river below. Mountain swifts frequently dart past the ancient, curved eaves, nesting in the rock crevices behind the temple to shelter from harsh winds. Resilient rock pines drive their roots into the barren sandstone, adding a touch of enduring greenery to the landscape. The temple has withstood millennia of storms by utilizing a natural recess in the cliff face as a protective canopy against floods and falling debris from the summit. The Catalonia region of northeastern Spain is home to a surreal sight. The entire town of Castellfollit de la Roca sits perched atop a basalt formation stretching over a kilometer in length. This natural rock formation rises 50 meters high, flanked by sheer cliffs that drop precipitously to the confluence of the Fluvia and Toronel rivers. The town occupies a precarious position, with multi-story volcanic stone houses built right up to the cliff's edge, creating the impression that the entire settlement could collapse into the riverbed at any moment due to the effects of erosion and weathering. To make a life in this confined space, residents have utilized the narrow strips of land behind their homes for small gardens and carved wells through the thick basalt to access the groundwater that sustains the community. The basalt formation is remarkably narrow. In some sections, there is barely enough room for a house standing at the edge of one cliff face and another house facing it from the opposite edge. Wild pigeons and local hawks frequently perch on the rocky ledges, catching the river breeze. Carpets of moss and ferns cling to the gray basalt surface, nourished by the moisture rising from the river that churns year-round at the base of the cliffs. Structures perched precariously on the edge of the abyss stand as the clearest testament to the extreme limits of survival for both humans and native life. Whether on scorching African sandstone cliffs or barren rocky islets amidst rushing waters, life finds a way to take root, adapt, and merge with the planet's geology. If this journey inspires you to keep exploring the surreal landscapes of our Earth, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next adventure.